After escaping from the Galactic Patrol prison, the terrible magician known as Moro, Devourer of Worlds, became a great threat to our 7th universe. However, Goku and his friends managed to defeat the merciless villain, though not without expending great effort. He's returned to our universe as usual, at least for now. On what appears to be a floating palace like Kami's lookout, a mysterious man hurtles through the air before crashing into the ground. In the process, he loses his grip on some kind of cube. Chasing after him, another person speeds through the hole he made in the ceiling, questioning in a panic,
Master Anzen, are you hurt?
Who tries to pick himself up. While no better for the wear, he states he doesn't have time to be in pain right now. That scumbag will be here soon. If we take a second to look at him, this guy appears like he may be a deity of some sort given the symbols on his clothing, specifically the triangle in the exact spot as the Grand Priest. Though this is very much a loose theory, he could possibly even be an angel himself given the light details of his hair, though it'd be one of the few lacking a halo. Anzen's underling shouts that he doesn't know what this evildoer's done, but he's driven all the Guardians mad. They're killing each other out there. It looks like he's been planning this for a long time now. Sensing whoever they're speaking of approaching, he's on his way here. They can't help but wonder if this monster has already killed all the Guardians. The unnamed warrior tosses the previously mentioned cube to his master and pleads for him to leave now. If he dies, their mission will fail and all of this will be in vain. The only thing he himself can do is offer himself as a sacrifice to avoid this great evil.
Damn you! You won't get past me! Did that do it?
Anzen uses his key to trigger some kind of object. He figures if he can get this door closed, his pursuer won't be able to get in. The object in question must be some kind of lock that the beings in this realm use to compensate for their immense power. And no matter how strong his foe is, he won't be able to break through. But before the door can come to a shutter, Anzen is hit from behind. The creature is able to dash in after him at the last moment. He wonders what he should do now. And spotting a bigger cube, he knows that to renew the energy of the ceiling box, he needs to insert the battery box. Unfortunately, he notices that it looks like someone will be trying to stop him from doing this. Powering up, he wanted to avoid a fight, but he has no other choice but to attack head-on. This is going to cost him dearly, and he'll probably get seriously hurt. Though no matter what happens to himself, he just needs to insert the battery into that casing. That's all. Then every universe will be safe for a few more million years. It is his duty as head of the Celestial Guardians, the divine protectors of the multiverse. Ah! I got him? You won the battle, but not the war! Ha! As Anzen is struck down in the most brutal way imaginable, the life fades from his eyes as he mutters, "This can't be. They must not." cube splits open before the larger cube opens and expels a mysterious energy surrounding it. 4. Not just one of the evil entities which slayed Anzen. With his last gasp of air, the head of the Celestial Guardians knows he's failed. Every universe is now doomed. What kind of power could this cube, or battery, hold that protects every universe in existence? And where did these guys come from who are strong enough to easily defeat those who defend it? On Beerus' planet. Goku and Vegeta continue with their never-ending training. With a sly smirk, Vegeta questions his rival what's the matter. Can he not handle him anymore? All he can do is use that instant transmission of his to flutter away now. And in a way, the prince is kind of right. He's figured out Goku's latest strategy and is able to pretty much counter him perfectly. He bluntly asks Vegeta if he found a new weakness of his. Which of course he has! What does this clown take him for? When he uses his Kaioken with Super Saiyan Blue, he's strong enough as he himself is in his evolution form, but his energy drains much faster because the strain Kaioken causes. Ironically, this is also classic Vegeta letting his ego give his opponent an edge. Then again, that's a big part of the reason he's come so far. Launching Goku across the world. Whis makes a striking comment about the spar. Vegeta seems to be quickly mastering Super Saiyan Blue, and much easier than Goku. Getting a ring from his staff. The Grand Priest contacts him. Clearly an unexpected and potentially extreme circumstance. He inquires of his father what has provoked this most unanticipated communication. He explains he's calling for a meeting of all angels and gods. Whis must come to the Grand Palace immediately. Also, he needs to fetch those mortals, Son Goku and Vegeta, for this conference. But Goku and Vegeta, could he possibly tell him exactly what this meeting is about? As straightforward as ever, he declares it regards a termination announcement. While we ourselves can only speculate what that means for now, Whis appears quite concerned.
Get over here, Kakarot! Come get some more!
Goku has to admit to Vegeta he's definitely gotten a lot stronger. Who sneers for him to stop mocking him and use that ultra whatever for him already? This training is pointless if he's holding back. However, his Saiyan counterpart isn't too sure about that. After all, he gets a lot stronger and slippier using Ultra Instinct. He'll probably beat him up pretty easily and it won't be much fun. But how dare he babble such nonsense? Vegeta demands he transform this instant so he can wipe the floor with that stupid face of his. Trying to calm him down, Goku presses Vegeta there's no need to get so angry about it. If that's the way he wants it, no biggie, he can just use it then. A calm energy overtakes our hero. He informs his rival this is it, this is his max power. Though he himself may want to use his energy of destruction in this fight, he has been training with Lord Beerus, right? While that is true, he's still a long way from mastering that kind of ki and using it in a fight. He won't be doing that in this battle. Either way, Goku figures it's his call. He's ready to do this. Vegeta powers up screaming that this will be the day he finally surpasses Kakarot for good. But that day may have to wait regardless of where either warrior stands. Waking up Beerus, the god screams to know what this racket is. Could those two fools really be fighting here again? This ends right now! Trying to scope the pair of them out. If those Saiyans want to fight, he'll give them a fight. Unfortunate for the prince. It appears the farmer does what he does best in planting a vegetable. Just as he predicted. Given that one's current state, the destroyer figures he'll leave him for later. Looking up. Face to face. Before they can even begin, Whis puts a halt to their skirmish. Beerus bellows out, asking what the angel thinks he's doing. Goku also objects, pleading for him not to intervene. He apologizes to them both, but they must all leave immediately. They have been summoned to a meeting between gods and angels. The presence of Mr. Goku and Mr. Vegeta will also be required. The destroyer especially takes note of that last part, questioning what this meeting's about. As blunt as his father, he repeats that ominous phrasing, a termination announcement. Shocking the god even more than the angel. Goku finally has to ask what we've been wondering and what a termination announcement is, though mildly and incorrectly wording it as a termination meeting, and why have he and Vegeta been called? Whis explains it's a very rare type of conference. It serves as an announcement of the dismissal of a god of destruction and the appointal of a new one. Meaning, a Hakai will be removed from his or her position, and if he and Mr. Vegeta are being asked to attend, it's very likely one of them will be asked to become the new god of destruction of the deferring universe. With this so-called termination announcement underway, does this mean the Anzen character is not an angel, but a destroyer? And just how will Goku and Vegeta fit into the plans of the Grand Priest, if at all? At Zeno's palace, all of the destroyers, angels, and Kaioshin humbly kneel in the presence of the Omni King. And then there's Goku. Of course, the Deitist duo couldn't care less about the lack of formality, and are simply happy to see him, greeting him simultaneously with only a millisecond delay between their voices. They tell him that he's arrived just in time. The Saiyan responds with a, "Yo, Zennies, how have you been?" Causing everyone around to shoot a gaze of death at our hero. As you can almost feel their stares, Goku begins to think that all these other guys might be a little upset with them. And between starting the Tournament of Power and now this, of course they're mad, especially at Goku and Beerus. So he'd better just shut his mouth and try not to make things worse. What Vegeta may be referring to, and from what we learn in Chapter 28 of Dragon Ball Super, a long time ago, Beerus ruined a multi-universal hide-and-seek tournament by falling asleep. Since he was unable to be found and unable to respond to the Omni King's commands, the entire thing had to be cancelled. This sent Zeno into such a fury that all of existence could have been erased, so the other gods have held a grudge against Beerus ever since. Anyway, Beerus scowls at both of these fools to shut it. This is no time to talk, and Goku better get down on one knee this instant before he forces him to. The Daikaishin calls for the conference to begin, requesting only the candidates and their mentors to remain center stage. Going on, the Grand Priest believes that the angels have already alerted their respective gods on the reasoning for this meeting. As previously alerted, this is a termination announcement. A god of destruction will be removed from his position, and a replacement will be chosen. The mortals selected as the best candidates to assume this position are both present, Son Goku and Vegeta IV. Showing off his clown skills yet again, Goku raises his hand to interrupt. Hey! You're graceful, sir! Why were he and Vegeta the only ones chosen? Surely there are others way more capable. Maybe from other universes like Top or Jiren. The Grand Priest simply rolls with the waves and is happy to answer this question. It just so happens to be, they are the only two mortals who are currently undergoing training from an angel. That's a very important prereq to become a god of destruction. As powerful as Mr. Jiren is, he has been trained by neither a god or angel. On the other hand, Top is already being prepared to replace the destroyer of his universe, Lord Belmod. While Goku rubs his head at his perceived complication, Vegeta finally speaks up. He has to admit that he has no desire in becoming a god of destruction, but he will comply without resistance if it's the only way to continue his training with Whis. It seems the proud warrior has happily transitioned from prince to patriarch. A much younger Vegeta would have likely accepted such a role with great impunity. The Father of Angels is pleased to hear of his compliance, even if reluctant, before telling Whis to inform Grand Zeno, along with the gods and angels present here, of his disciples' qualification to hold this position. Speaking first of Goku, in addition to being a very powerful warrior, he's been able to reach heights of Ultra Instinct that even destroyers of this generation cannot pass. Unfortunately, this is where the benefits of selecting him cease. He's also quite carefree and disconnected from the present. While he is kind, his generosity often borders the line of stupidity. Fresh out of the oven, Goku takes exception to that last part. He doesn't have to be so harsh about it. Whis continues on with his assessment. While Vegeta doesn't have the ability to tap into Ultra Instinct, recently he's been training to master the Hakai. His progress seems very promising. He too is a very powerful warrior, but unlike Goku, he acts with seriousness. He possesses the ferocity and ruthlessness necessary to carry out the work of a destroyer, causing the prince to smirk at his rival and quip,
Hear that, Kakarot? I'm better than you.
The Grand Priest announces that based on the information given by Whis, who is the master of candidates, all of the gods of destruction and angels will cast their vote. After that, Zeno will make the final decision on who will become the newest god of destruction. The angels and destroyers held a secret vote on who would be chosen to become the newest god. After some time, the Dakaishin became aware of the outcome, as all 12 gods and 12 angels have made their decision. With a unanimous result of 24 votes to 0 votes, Mr. Vegeta is to become the newest destroyer. Though not ultimately desired, he can't help but take pride in beating Goku in anything, who feels twice baked after getting completely shut out. It's not like he actually wanted to be the next god of destruction, but he also didn't want to lose like this. The Grand Priest tells Zeno, as recommended by all the destroyers and angels, including Whis himself, the master of both candidates, that the best choice to assume the position of God of Destruction is Mr. Vegeta, but the final say is up to him. Both of which utter, No, screw the vote, we want our friend Goku. The Saiyan himself mutters that he doesn't think he would make a very good god of destruction. He doesn't really like killing people or destroying things. The Shinkan assures that the title itself may not suggest it, but being a destroyer entails much more than simply destroying. With time, he'll see. Well, Vegeta's ego can't keep himself from saying what needs to be said. None of this makes any sense. What does Kakarot have that he doesn't? He was only chosen because he's friends with Lord Zeno. But stopping him before the room fills with the racy smell of rubber, Beerus warns that if the Saiyan values his existence, he won't dare finish that sentence. Goku sighs, figuring he doesn't really have much of a choice himself in this, does he? But what universe will he be sent off to? Surely this isn't to take over for Beerus or something. And that brings them all to the next point of today's meeting. Of the 12 destroyers, only 4 of them have done a satisfactory job. This includes Jin of the 12th universe, Liquor of the 8th universe, Arak of the 5th universe, and Yuan of the 1st universe. All other gods, suffice to say, have been very negligent in their duties. As a result of their incompetence, 8 universes have undergone a great deal of decay. Some even disobeyed divine law and acted on their own without permission. After long reflection, it's been decided that the god of destruction who will be expelled from his post will be the destroyer of the 6th universe, Champa. The Grand Priest asks Champa to please make his way to the center of this room, and for the Universe 6 Supreme Kai, Fua, to join him. In addition to their universe presenting a very low mortal level and demonstrating clear disregard for the functions which surround the title, the Lord in question left his territory and crossed over into the 7th universe without permission, merely for a selfish attempt to gather the Super Dragon Balls. Among others, it's because wrongdoings like this they've decided Champa is no longer fit to hold his position. Which is an interesting choice. The Shinkan's wording makes it out to be that it was he and a group of others that came to this conclusion, which would logically be Jin, Liquor, Arak, and Iwan since they were the only ones off limits from the start of this meeting. Ro just better be happy this didn't all regard specifically the Supreme Kais. Champa relents that he should have expected this. But what happens next? What will become of him now? And from this moment forward, he'll be stripped of his divinity. Along with this, he shall no longer remain immortal and will begin aging naturally again, just as he did before becoming a god of destruction. He may choose any planet of Universe 6 which to spend the rest of his life. If that's the case, he requests to be left on the planet known as Earth, which is a bit ironic seeing how the Super Dragon Balls got him in this situation to begin with, and the only reason his universe contains an Earth now is because of him. Fua interjects that he tried to convince him to act diligently, but he simply would never listen, even after explaining to him that this would likely be the outcome of his behavior. That's when Fua himself is addressed, as his life is linked to that of his respective god of destruction. With the loss of Champa's divinity, Fua himself will immediately perish. After, he'll be sent to the supreme planet of his universe to carry on as a deceased deity. Who also takes the bad news relatively well. If this is his fate, so be it. In all reality, it could be worse. Turning to Zeno, the Grand Priest beckons if he wishes to now proceed with the termination. As the meeting concludes as quickly as it began, it's then requested of Vados to escort Champa back to Universe 6 as a final courtesy. Approaching him, she decides to ham it up one last time and sobs. "Oh, Lord Champa, this'll be our last trip together. How the sorrow overwhelms me," causing Champa to scream for her to keep her lame performances to herself. All that remains is for the next god of destruction of Universe 6, Son Goku, to take over. Preparation for the ritual takes approximately 3 ticks to complete, which is about 1 full day on Earth. So until then, everyone is dismissed. He tells Goku that in 24 hours Earth time, he must be on the planet of destruction of Universe 6. There, a ritual will take place. Until then, he's free to do as he likes. With this, the official conclusion of this meeting has been reached. The Zenos excitedly rush over to Goku, shouting to come play with them. And the Saiyan assures he'd love to, but now since he's going to be a god of destruction, he thinks he has to spend a little time back home to say goodbye to everyone. Bulma might want to throw him a farewell party when she hears the news, which the Omni Kings understand. And now that he's going to be immortal, he's going to have plenty of time to play with him now, right? They can play for centuries! And while the thought of playing for hundreds of years is a bit jarring, Goku nonetheless claims of course they can! But now he has to go. At Capsule Corp. Landing straight in front of Bulma, Goku's shocked to see Chi-Chi's already here. The scientist is a bit confused by their arrival. They weren't even gone a week this time. And Beerus and the Supreme Kai are here too? Don't tell her the Earth is in danger again. Beerus smiles to inform that they have only come along to join in on Goku's going away party. Surely there'll be lots to eat. But a going away party? Going away to where? Chi-Chi's husband tries to break the news the best he can, but as blunt as he is, he explains that he's been chosen to become the next god of destruction, so he has to go to another universe. After receiving the news that Goku had become a god of destruction, Bulma called an emergency party at Capsule Corp. All of Goku's friends gather to better understand what's happening and to bid farewell. As the day winds down, Goku still tries to explain his side of things to a dejected Chi-Chi. He didn't even want to be a god. He thought they were going to choose Vegeta. But Zenny intervened and they picked him instead. And he didn't just say no? Has he lost his mind? Bulma inquires. Though we all know it doesn't work like that. If he refused, who knows what would have happened? He might have erased the entire universe. Chi-Chi finds solace in the reality that at least Goku will now be able to finally work a job that suits him. She thinks he'll like it a lot better than being a radish farmer. While he's happy his mother is taking all of this well, Gohan isn't sure he agrees. The work of a destroyer is pretty intense and he's not sure his dad can do such cruel things. Beerus agrees, stating Goku is too stupid for the job. It would have been much better to have chosen Vegeta, but there's no way to argue with Lord Zeno. cueing Trunks to drop the mallet on the Goku button, asking if this means his dad lost to Goku again. But he didn't lose to anybody! Does Trunks want to be grounded? On a serious note, Bulma has to ask Goku if he really thinks he's gonna be able to destroy entire planets, kill so many people. He spared even Frieza like 6 times. He knows the implications, but the Grand Priest told him that a destroyer's job is a lot more than destroying things. He honestly plans to avoid killing people as much as possible. When Gohan brings up a good question, does this also mean he'll be working with the Supreme Kai? Who has no idea? When Lord Champa lost his divinity, the Kaioshin of his universe died. So maybe this just means he'll be without one? This brings Shin to chime in with a bit of info. The life of a Supreme Kai is linked to the life of the god of destruction of their universe. From the moment Lord Champa lost his divinity and energy of destruction, it's as if his divine side perished. Because of that, Lord Fua in turn perished as a result. Goku's life too will be linked to a Kaioshin tomorrow at the ritual. So now we know how the Hakaishin are chosen. How are Kaioshin chosen? And there are a few ways, but in this case, it'll probably involve the Kaiju tree of Universe 6. It has probably bloomed a new golden fruit. That's the best reason he can think of to choose now to replace the Universe 6 destroyer. Perking his ears, Vegeta has to question what a Kaiju tree is. Laying down some more knowledge. Kaioshin and Kaio are all part of the Shinjin race. They were all born from the divine Kaiju tree. The common fruits of these trees give life to all Kaios, such as King Kai. The golden fruits, which are much more rare, give life to Kaioshin like himself. He believes that the Kaiju tree of Universe 6 has produced a new golden fruit, and the powers that be have approved the birth of a new Kaioshin, hence the appointment of a new Hakaishin. Trunks finds himself a bit baffled by this variation of the birds and the bees, or maybe better equated to the branch they both reside on. The boy figures, "So you guys are like apples? That's kind of weird." Whis has to joke that it's much easier than how mortals are born, is it not? Prompting Goten to question his mother just how kids are born. Chi-Chi bellows at the angel to watch what he says in front of the kids. She isn't ready to have this kind of conversation yet. Whis laughs, but apologizes to the angry mother. As Goku has a shower thought, if they grow like apples, what happens if a rotten one is born? Shin then entails that when a common fruit is born rotten, it births a Makaio. And when a golden fruit is rotten, a Makaio Shin. In both cases, these corrupted entities are sent to the Makai world, also known as the Demon Realm. As a matter of fact, they've already met a Makaio Shin. They remember a few years ago, it was one of Babidi's henchmen, Dabura. The two of them are merely two sides of the same coin. Beerus stands to announce that this was a fine party, but it's time to leave, commanding Goku to follow. With a bit of a stutter, Chi-Chi wonders if Goku will be able to come back and visit. Whis tells that until Mr. Goku has obtained basic knowledge of his new position in universe, not to mention grasping his new powers, he probably won't be able to return here. But that shouldn't take all too long. Whis' younger sister is quite strict in her training, so he doesn't think a vast amount of time will pass before Goku's able to come see them all once more. That is, of course, if Lord Beerus doesn't mind him trespassing in his universe. Who can only roll his eyes at such a statement. And wide-eyed, Goten asks his dad if he can come with them so they can train some more, causing Whis to once again speak up. Unfortunately, that will not be possible. Mortals from one universe cannot spend an extended period in another universe. Though under extreme circumstances, exceptions have been allowed in the past. So Goku tells his son that he'll make him a deal. When he gets back, he wants Goten to be as strong as he can possibly get so they can train together. Does that sound good? Who promises the next time he sees him, he's gonna be so much stronger. Turning to his other son, Goku instructs Gohan to take care of his mother until he returns. So you know, par for course as usual. Krillin then steps over to our hero to wish him luck, and to never forget what it means to be an Earthling. Roshi has a similar sentiment. He wants Goku to go show those gods the power of the Turtle School. And finally, Vegeta. The prince smirks that whether god or mortal, he better not think their little rivalry is over. Though he wouldn't for a second. As Goku blasts off to his newest adventure, Bulma too wishes him luck. They'll be waiting for the day he returns.